Hello everyone, my name is Jared Preston and I'm here today to teach you how to perform the Olympic clean or the power clean. The Olympic clean is an ideal exercise for someone trying to gain explosive power for sport because of the coordination of all the major muscle groups in an explosive multi-joint movement and the ability for those adaptations to transfer to other sport or daily living activities. These are some of the reasons this is one of the most complete exercises. Now before we get started, I'm going to emphasize that this is a beginner's tutorial, so we won't be using weights or even a barbell. All we need is a broomstick or even just your hands. Safety is our number one concern, so please do not apply resistance to this movement until you're comfortable and very confident performing this lift unloaded. Although I'll be teaching you this lift unloaded today, there are some additional safety considerations to be aware of when you're ready to apply resistance, or even just if you're practicing with your broomstick. Make sure you're lifting on an appropriate surface with appropriate footwear. You really don't want to slip, especially when you're loading. Perform the lift away from crowded areas. You're going to be moving around quite a bit, so you don't want to bump into anybody or swing into a lamp or something. Use safety clips when loading. That becomes very important when you start putting weight on a bar. And this is just for your own benefit, but have somebody watch your execution. You don't really need a spotter for this movement because you're going to be able to fall backward out of it. You'll be able to throw the bar forward, or just the weight's not over top of you, so you don't really need a spotter, but it's good to have somebody monitor your execution so that you know that you're progressing and eventually you'll be able to load a bar. Now that we've gone over some of the initial safety concerns, I'll take you through the setup and different parts of the movement. The exercise involves quickly and forcefully pulling the bar from the floor to the front of the shoulders all in one movement. Although the ascent consists of 3 phases, the upward movement of the bar occurs in one continuous motion. Now for the starting position. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart and toes pointed outward slightly. Squat down with your hips lower than your shoulders and grasp the broomstick with an overhand grip. Keep your chest up, core tight, and shoulder blades retracted and depressed. The stick should be over your toes or shoelaces, and your shoulders should be over or slightly in front of the stick. Now for the first phase of the upward movement, the first pull, which involves knee extension. Lift the broomstick off the floor by forcefully extending the hips and knees. Don't let the hips rise before the shoulders. Maintain a neutral spine position and keep the elbows fully extended out to the sides and shoulders over or in front of the broomstick. Keep the broomstick as close to your shins as possible on the ascent. Now for the second phase of the upward movement, the second pull, which includes knee and hip extension. Rapidly extend the hips, knees, and ankles while making sure your heels keep contact with the floor as long as possible in order to reach full extension and to maximize force. Keep the broomstick as close to the body as possible at all times. Keep your spine neutral and your shoulders over or slightly in front of the stick. Keep your elbows extended for as long as possible. Once your hips, knees, and ankles are fully extended, rapidly shrug the shoulders upward with elbows still extended out to the sides. As your shoulders fully elevate, flex the elbows to begin pulling the body under the bar or the stick. You may come off the floor at this point because essentially you're performing a forceful jump. For the final phase of the upward movement, the catch. Now I'd just like to reiterate a couple points about the upward phase of the movement. First pull is knee extension. The second pull is forceful hip extension while you're pulling the bar upwards and slightly away from you. Think of this as a vertical jump. This should bring you up on your toes or potentially off the ground, so it's a forceful jump. The catch involves arms rotating under the broomstick, feet shoulder width, toes pointed out slightly, and you're going to catch on the shoulders and perform the squat and rise. And we really want to make sure that we perform the catch by getting the shoulders and the upper arms completely parallel to the ground. You don't want them down here, you don't want them up here. You just need them parallel to the ground so that your shoulders are in a safe position. Now I'm going to perform the movement in its entirety and break it down in 3 steps. The first pull, the second pull and catch, and then pronated grip, feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly out, neutral spine, core tight, Head looking forward, shoulders retracted and depressed. Want to remain in that upright position, upright torso, shoulders back, retracted and depressed. We want to have a little bit of knee flexion so that we have something to still, we haven't finished our knee extension from the first pull. So we're going to have a little bit of our knee under the bar, upright torso, hips back, and we're going to forcefully extend our knees and hips into the bar, throwing the bar up and catching it under it. I'll do that in slow motion.